afternoon, sir. Could we interest you in some chocolate?
Chocolate? Did you say chocolate? Yes, sir. With or without nuts. Chocolate? Chocolate! 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 Chocolate!
Hello. Have you wondered how to make chocolate? Well, I'm going to tell you the steps of how to make chocolate. The first step is the very most important step, is making sure the beans you take are the right beans. The way you make sure to make them right is that they're really yellow. Yellow means they're really ready to go to make some chocolate. Here's step 2 of making chocolate. Step 2 is the fermentation process. The fermentation process is when the beans are picked ripely, when they're set out in the sun if the climate is right, and they are heated up and dried. Now, workers come through and they pick out and stir them up to make sure all the beans turn out right.
Pardon me, didn't see you there. After fermentation, the cocoa seeds must be dried before they are packaged and shipped on out to chocolate manufacturers. Farmers simply spread the seeds on trays and leave them in the sun to dry. The drying process usually takes about a week and results in seeds that are about half of their original weight. The first thing that chocolate manufacturers do with cocoa beans is roast them. This develops the color and flavor of the beans into what our modern palates expect from the fine chocolate. The outer shell of the beans is removed, and the inner cocoa bean meat is broken into small pieces called cocoa nibs. The roasting process makes the shells of the cocoa bean brittle, and the cocoa nibs pass through a series of sieves which strain and sort the nibs according to size in a process called winnowing.
The next step of making chocolate is grinding and coaching. The cocoa nibs are grounded with stone rollers until they become a paste known as cocoa mass, or cocoa liquor. This pure, undefined form of chocolate contains both cocoa solids and cocoa butter. This is useful because most chocolate makers often use extra cocoa butter to give the chocolate a smoother, glossier texture. Some manufacturers replace this extra cocoa with cheaper vegetable fats, and this is something you should look at for ingredients to avoid. The only fat in the real chocolate is cocoa butter.
Tempering. Great chocolate should have a shiny finish and a good snap. That clean clicking sound when you break a piece off. These are created by tempering, the controlled process of raising, lowering, and raising the temperatures of the chocolate to form exactly the right kind of crystals. If you were to let the untempered chocolate cool naturally, the chocolate would be soft and crumbly and would not melt evenly on the tongue. Tempering can be done by hand, but the process would be enormously time-consuming for the large amounts of chocolate that bar manufacturers have to work with. So most use tempering machines that can handle large quantities of chocolate very accurately. The tempering machine will keep the melted chocolate circulating at exactly the right temperature, making the final step easier.
Now the final step of making chocolate is the molding part. The final step is making a finished chocolate bar, is pouring it into a mold. The melted chocolate is simply poured into a plastic bar-shaped mold, and to remove any air bubbles. Larger chocolate makers will have machines and conveyors that deposit exactly the right amount of chocolate in each mold, but many small manufacturers still do this part by hand. That fat here right there. We're done.
Oh.
Chocolate, is your mother home? Mom! What's all that yelling? You just can't wait for me to die, can you?
They're selling chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yeah!
What are they selling?
Chocolate!
What?
Chocolate!
I can't hear you.
They're selling chocolate!
They're selling chocolate?
Yeah!
Chocolate? I remember when they first invented chocolate. Sweet, sweet chocolate. I always hated it. Oh, but this chocolate's not for eating. It's for...
You rub it on your skin and it makes you live forever.